Come on, why are you not working? Oh my, hey, how are you? Okay, there we go. I'm good, thank you. I'm glad you're well. Oh, Shredder. Hey, bestie, how are you? Oh, thank you for the follows. You're gonna steal my socks. I don't have that great socks. They're all pretty much black. So I don't know how exciting they would be. Okay, all good. See you, Shredder. You'll take them. Welcome, Priel. And hey, Arlene, how are you? And welcome, Countess Hiru. Hi, Sister Blue. I'm good, thank you, Arlene. How are you, Sister Blue? Hey, Yoshosh. Your Mars in Cancer. To go away. Oh, that's a very sweet placement to have, Mars in Cancer. Hey, Zach, how are you? Oh, this is my old chair. I have a new chair now with my at my work desk downstairs. So this is my chair for just weekends, I guess. But I got a new chair from IKEA. This one isn't the most comfortable chair. This one was from Office Works. Okay, so you guys just all came in when I'm just starting stream. Yeah, that's my cats. Yup, I'm obsessed, which you can tell. I swear I took them off one of my overlays, but somehow they ended back up there, so I just left them on. But yeah, my cats. The ginger one at the top is Gingy, but Jinji, and then there's Yoda, the white one, and then Honey, the tortoiseshell coloured one, and then Yosh, the black smoky one. He's just hiding down here in a box. Hey, Yosh. What you doing, baby? I don't know if the queue's open, Zach, but I'm going to do some readings later. I'm going to talk about the current astrology, the general astrology that's going on at the moment, and then I'm going to probably do a reading or two, then do some tapping, some EFT tapping on perfectionism for all the Virgo energy we have at the moment, so helping us to move past perfectionism and actually get shit done. And then maybe another reading or two. I only have 2 hours, so maybe even a bit less than that, so I have to be aware of that. But I don't know how much I'll talk about the astrology anyway, because the last 2 weeks we've spoken for 2 hours straight about the astrology, so today might not be as long just about talking about the astrology. Yeah, their faces are very cute. They're squished in. But with that, they have a lot of health issues, so their breed. But they are very cute. Hello, Rhinosaur. I love hearing about astrology stuff too. It's all I do is listen to astrology 24/7 pretty much. Either my teacher or just someone on YouTube or something. So, all right, you can see the chart. So we'll just get into it and have a chat. So today is a significant day actually, because right here we have Mars. I don't know if this is like not as good. It's hard because I can't draw on the screen like I can in Paint or like I can on my tablet, but I can only use a little cursor to go around when I'm using the actual software. Maybe I need to get like a screen overlay thing or something for it on PC. I'm sure you can get something. But yeah, the Mars here in Gemini at 8 degrees is about to go retrograde. Let's just move the chart forward a day. Sorry, into shadow, not retrograde, into shadow phase. So it's going to still move forward until 23 degrees or 26 degrees, is it? Hang on. Mars might be 26 degrees. There we go. Yeah, so 25 degrees. So Mars will station direct at 25 degrees on the 30th of October. So what we experience between now and the 30th of October, we're going to go back over again. So wherever Gemini is in your chart, the Gemini area, and if you don't know that, you can get your birth chart. So you can go to astro.com and you can get a free birth chart and see where a Gemini area is in your chart. And depending on the house, which is by these numbers, it governs how it's going to affect your life. So Mars in that Gemini energy in general, stationing direct, is going to be the most intense when it's stationing. So when it's stationing direct to go retrograde, or it's stationing direct to go stationing to go retrograde, or stationing to go direct to go forward again. So Mars in Gemini. So when Mars is in Gemini in general, so we're experiencing more energy basically, because when Mars is our direction, it's our drive, it's our passion, it's our desire, it's our what wakes us up in the morning, gets us going. It's that initiating energy. So when Mars is in Gemini, it brings up lots of options, lots of opportunities. There's like a lot more flooded energy, like scattered energy around, because there's so many things available to us, so many conversations, so much information, so many opportunities and things to do, and things to see, and people to talk to, and things to get out, and things to communicate, and things to share, and information, all that stuff. Like, it's so much, because that Gemini energy is the monkey brain. So it's like when the mind has just got so much going on. So it's a time when we can feel like we have so much going on, or there's so much that needs to get done, or just so much busyness and happening in our life. So when Mars does retrograde, that'll definitely slow down. So up until the 30th of October, we're still going to feel that energy. So between now and then, we're going to be going back over these themes, whatever's coming up now until the 30th of October, in the themes of, communication, information, in learning, in like short distance travel, in our communication, our speech, our thoughts, our thought processes, our learning, it's a bit sort of like our education, in a sense. Our early education and stuff like that can come up, our development and learning and stuff like that as well. So it's when things retrograde, it's a time to reset, review, rethink, reevaluate, reinvigorate, reassess, all those things that make us go over something again, to bring things back up. You have to know the degree too. Yeah. That's when it gets complicated. Oh, yeah. But the degrees are what helps us to be predictive in astrology, helps us to show. So when something's at a specific degree, that actual degree means something, but then it also means that it's going to be possibly making aspects with other degrees close to it in the chart. So when something moves into a sign, it may not necessarily affect everything in that sign until it gets to the similar degrees. I'm a Gemini Sun, Mercury, and Jupiter. Oh, wow. So this transit is definitely going to, like, the next few months, the next 7 months are going to be quite intense for you, and like could even be life-changing because of all the energy that's going to be going through Gemini with this retrograde, and just everything that's going to happen. So and having your sun there, and Mercury and Jupiter, it's going to be like really expansive and life-changing for you, and you're going to grow and learn a lot, and especially with your sun there too. Wow. The sun is like, a big part of our soul purpose and our soul journey, and what's lighting us up and directing us and shining that light for us to bring us into our soul's purpose, but also to bring us into love and happiness, and love and happiness and joy, that sort of thing. Hey, my Mercury is in Cancer. And did you say your Mars is in Cancer as well? So that Cancer sign is, that's receptive energy. It's watery, it's sensitive, it's emotional, but it's cardinal too. So it's not an energy that just sits, it's receptive, but it's taking action so that it's given the opportunities to receive. So that Mars in Gemini is, a chance for us to, especially during the retrograde phase, to reestablish better thought patterns and thought processes, and get more organized in our mind, and get more balanced within our mind and mindset too, so that we're not so scattered and dealing with so many things, or too many things, or too much information, or too much stimuli and things like that, so that we can get focused and know exactly what, because that Mars wants to go after something, wants to, set its it's not like Sagittarius where it's shooting its arrow and it's aiming at something. It's just sort of like initiating and starting energy, putting it out there and just seeing where it goes. It's almost like it's the Fool, just wanting to go out there and experience and just try something new. So, and in that Gemini energy is very inquisitive as well. So that Mars in Gemini wants to explore and to try new things and to, to socialize more and to talk more and to chat more and to communicate more and to, to learn more maybe, or whatever it is. Basically, it's like all to do with information and taking in information and taking in the environment as well. So we can find ourselves like more busy, feeling more busy, and at points can feel overwhelmed as well with like how busy we can feel. And that can be, poke that chart, and that can be because we do have so much going on, or because we got so much going on in here. It can be, in our environment or just in our minds as well. So if we go back to today, so that is quite a while. That's like almost 2 months now of, going over a lot. Like this is a long retrograde period. So we've got 2 months of shadow, and so then we're going to have a big retrograde period where it's going to go back over that 2 months again and then go forward again. So this 7-month period is going to change a lot of our lives, again, depending where that Gemini area is in your chart. So like if it's in your first house, then it can be changing the whole direction of your life and what you're about and like the way you're going out into the world and what you're doing in the world and stuff like that. If your second house, it can change the way that you are dealing with your money and your finances and how you're able to attain it and go after it and to achieve and get resources and have self-worth and constant value and have skills and abilities and stuff like that to be able to do something with, because that Mars energy wants to take action and do something. I can see it's going to be intense. I always feel overwhelmed. Yeah, I feel like that too. I have a lot of Gemini energy in my chart too. So I have my Mercury, I have my Mars, and I have Chiron there. So, and Juno. So yeah, I feel ya. Definitely feel you there. So, where are we at again? It's 14th of September. Let's just go back a bit to back today. 4th of September. So for me, it's the 4th of September. We're looking at Brisbane, Australian time right now. It may be the 3rd of September for you on the other side of the world. And maybe late at night as well. So Mars, we're talking about in general that Mars energy too. So it can make us, Mars is our drive, it's our direction, it's our passion. And Mars is warlike. Mars is courageous. Mars is the leader. Mars wants to, he does want to fight and all that too. And he does want to be the dominant one and to be strong and stuff like that too. So this is where we can, because we're talking about Gemini communication energy, we get more verbal Mars energy. So Mars energy is not as so necessarily can be so physical. It can be more about the verbal and the communication and all those things. So we can be more feisty in our communication, more straight up, more forward, more reactive, saying things without thinking. And it can be hurtful, it can be harmful, because that Mars energy just reacts like that, and it's harsh, and it's as I said, like warlike, it's masculine, it's not trying to, it's the opposite sign of that Libra, Venus, Venusian energy. It's not trying to create peace and balance and harmony. It's just doing its own thing. It's an individual, it's selfish, it wants to say whatever it wants or do whatever it wants, basically, to satisfy itself. So that that's where it can become quite intense too over the next 7 months, where we can say things, or people can say things that they may not mean it, that like really mean deep down, but it just comes out, or in the moment gets really fiery and passionate or whatever. So some good things can come out of it too. We can be more passionate and more straightforward, as I said, and more upfront, like about how we feel and what we want and what we're desiring and all that stuff. So it can be, you know, a good thing as well in that sense. So if you're like an Aries person or a Scorpio person, if you're like Aries or Scorpio in your chart, or that Gemini energy, then it's definitely going to affect you more. But again, it all comes down to degrees, because if you've got something at 8 degrees, you know, almost anywhere in the chart, or between that 8 and that 23 degrees, which can be everyone and everything, it's going to affect somewhere. You know, whether it's a sextile, it's a trine, it's an opposition, it's a square, there's something that could be triggered somewhere for you. And it could be in love, it could be in your work, it could be in your career, it could be with your money, it could be with your home, it could be with your family, it could be with your mindset, it could be with your entrepreneur things that you're doing on the side, it could be with your hobbies, it could be with your children. You know, it's just so many things it could be, depending where it is in your chart. But it's always going to be based on that Mars energy, taking action, motivation, wanting to go forward and drive and go after something, and that Gemini information and sharing and talking and communicating and speaking, and the mind and the mindset and all that stuff as well, a big part of it. So today is significant because that it's hitting that shadow period now. So this is where the focus comes in, where we focus on those themes, and we have to, you know, it's awareness too. One of the biggest things with astrology, and the most important things, and I always say, is awareness. It's like, that's why astrology is so powerful. It gives us that awareness. We know what's coming, then we can be instead of reactive, we can respond. You know, instead of being reacting, we can respond instead. So it's like, we're aware, we know what's going on. We're not going to be like, you know, someone's like yells at us or something like that, and it's not normal for them. We're going to think, okay, well, it's something to do with this. I'm not going to I'm not going to react back. I'm going to respond instead, so that I don't make it worse, or, you know, bring that warlike energy out more. And that's the thing with the awareness too, is that we know that things are changing and moving all the time, that these transits aren't lasting forever, so that the energy is going to change and dissipate and go through different cycles and phases while it's in that. So like, you know, that Mars is not normally in a sign for 7 months. You know, it's a faster moving sign. So is it 8? No, it's not 88. No, Mercury's 88 days. But it's a faster moving sign. So, you know, sometimes it, so for it to be going through that means it's going to be going through a lot of different phases. So, you know, it's going into that shadow period, then it's going back into retrograde, then it's going to be going forward again. So it's different phases as it's going through that sign, basically. So it won't be the same all the time. So, where are we today? So 4th of September. So we do have Mercury currently in shadow for its retrograde 2 up here in Libra. And this Mercury retrograde is really good because it's going to help us to get way more organized in our minds, in our environments, in our day-to-day lives, help us to be able to draw our energy back in, and then put it back out to only things that are important, that are essential to us to moving forward. So a big part of that Mercury, so Mercury is going to retrograde back from Libra into this Virgo energy. So rethinking, reevaluating, all those things in that Virgo energy, so helping us to get reorganized in every aspect of our life. But the best thing that we can do is during that time, during this Mercury retrograde time, especially when it retrogrades back into that Virgo, is to start to plan things, to go back over old things, old situations that or old projects we have, or anything that's like that comes up basically during that time, for us to reevaluate, rethink, slow down and take time to work through it. And it's an opportunity so then when it goes forward that we can have better planning processes in place so that we can take better action and move forward in a clearer mind space. So Mercury retrograde is always to help us to come back forward with some kind of clearer insight or an idea or some kind of inspiration or something that helps us to get back on track. And when we're talking about Virgo energy, one of the best things, like, it's getting organized. So it's like having no clutter in your home. So if that's like going through and cleaning up your house and tidying it up, or if it's going through and spring cleaning, for Southern Hemisphere right now, we're in Virgo season, and on the Southern Hemisphere that is a spring clean for us. So it's a good time to spring clean in the home. It's also a good time to like go through and organize the home and like throw out things that you no longer need, so you can make space for new things to come in. Write lists. The best thing to do and to be able to plan and move forward is to write lists of things you need to do. And that Virgo energy reminds us that, because Virgo is all about attention to details. And by doing the small tasks and the small things and paying attention to the small things that need to be done, they'll build up into something big and help us to, be able to move forward with something bigger possibly. But it's all those small things. So it's like we've got all these small tasks in the back of our mind that need to be done, all these things that we can't, we're not getting sorted or whatever because we're not focused or whatever the reason is, which we're overwhelmed or whatever, then that's going to weigh us down. So it's like, if we're able to get things out of our mind and write them down on paper and to plan them out proper and to organize them, so organize our mind and organize our environment, then we can be clearer in our mind, our mindset, and our environment, so we can move forward. So it's like, they say cluttered space, cluttered house, you have a cluttered mind or whatever. So it's like your house is cluttered, your home's cluttered, or if your space or environment's cluttered, you're really not going to be able to focus in that environment when you're, whatever you're wanting to do or achieve. So that is the big part of the Mercury retrograde energy. So we've got, and a big part of this too is that where Mercury's endpoint, when it goes back into Libra, is to find that peace and balance and harmony within our relationships and the way that we relate to others. And that is through clearer communication, through having a having clarity within our minds of what we need to, what we need and what others need. So it's like understanding our needs and others' needs, so we can find balance and peace and harmony. And also, it's like, especially the Mercury, it's like releasing that judgmental energy where we're too judgmental on ourselves or others. That can be a big part of what's holding us back, because we think others are judging us too much, or we're judging others too much, and that's holding us back because we're being then stuck in that perfectionism energy. And that's one thing I said we're going to tap on today, is that perfectionism energy, because that's a big part of what we're going to be working through this Virgo. We're going through a Virgo season now, so the sun is moving through Virgo for 30 days, but then also a lot of other planets follow through that energy. So we've already had Mercury lead the way through Virgo, and we'll go back. The sun's going through. Venus is at the last degrees here, you can see, of Leo, and we'll move into Virgo until the end of end of this month. And so while Venus moves into Virgo, it's going to intensify that perfectionism, that Virgo organizational energy even more. Because Virgo is all about being of service. It's about getting things done. It's about wanting to it is an energy of, although it's not Saturnian, it's definitely energy of wanting to show up because it wants to be of service. It feels like it has a mission to be here and do something. of a bigger higher purpose to help others in some way. It's helpful. This energy, it can come across like harsh and critical, and I always explain this because it can see how things can be done better. It's the fixer energy. It wants to make things better so that they are working better and working properly and whatnot. So that Virgo energy, it just wants the best for things to work well. And it's like it can come across harsh and critical, or too much of a perfectionist sometimes. Oh, wow. Yeah, 33 is definitely a powerful year. It's a power number. And if you know anything about Freemasonry and things like that, it's like a very powerful number and powerful year of your life. It's like when you become an adult, basically, and, start to ascend into the world in a sense. But yeah, also a Scorpio moon, I can relate to that. I'm a Scorpio moon in Vedic astrology. And yes, Scorpio is a very intense sign, especially Scorpio moon. It's very receptive, but it's also very psychic and intuitive, and it can feel a lot and feel a lot of energy and feel people's intentions and thoughts and all that stuff. So it's very powerful, but it's very can be very overwhelming too because of the power that it has, because it is all about power and learning to be in one's power of your own emotions and feelings and stuff like that. Hey, Hungry Soup, how are you? Welcome. The Scorpio in you is tired. Oh yeah, definitely. Especially while Mars, your one of your rulers, is there in Gemini, so that energy is going to be, making you feel like more tired because there's just so much going on. But also that Pluto energy is in retrograde. So Pluto's the other ruler of Scorpio, and Pluto's in retrograde at the moment. So Pluto is already a planet an energy that goes within and goes down into the underground. And then when it goes into retrograde, it goes even deeper within, because there's like more to dive down, even deeper into the deeper waters, to dive down into even more of the deep murkiness that's going on, the emotions, the feelings, the truth. It's like we have our mask that we wear, and then we have a layer of truth, and then we have another layer of truth down further, our real truth and our real true intentions. So there's layers of truth to us, and there's layers of secrets to people too, which is their truth coming out to the surface or whatever. So and that Scorpio energy can be a real secretive energy, or it can be someone that wants to delve deep into unravel all the secrets, basically. And the other thing too with anyone who's got strong Scorpio energy too is you have the South Node in Scorpio at the moment. So the South Node is North and South Node are collectively and personally what is guiding us and directing us towards something or away from something. And when we're talking about, so we've got the North Node in Taurus, and we've got the South Node up here in Scorpio. So anyone with South Node with Scorpio placements is going to feel this South Node intensely, because you've got not only the South Node there, but you've got the opposition then of the North Node in Taurus and Uranus, who's been there for a long time as well, and retrograding back. So and the North and South Node, so the South Node is our past. It's what we come into this life already knowing. It's our safe place. It's where we our comfort zone. It's where it's basically where we need to move away from. It's the skills and abilities we've already learnt in a previous lifetime. We've come into this life to help us move towards our North Node. So we don't cut it off and leave it behind. We use the lessons and the karma to help us to move forward towards our future, our destiny, which is the North Node. So the North Node is the destiny. It's our destiny. It's the future. It's what we're moving towards collectively. It's what we're going to physically obtain in this world and learn, and where that South Node is more of a spiritual attainment, because we've already had the physical of it in a previous life. We now have to understand the spiritual side through that North Node. So having the South Node, which is all about releasing and letting go, and especially in Scorpio, it's about releasing and letting go of any fears, any control, where you're not in control of yourself, or there's other people that have control and power over you. It's about stepping into our power. It's about letting go of the need of other people's resources or finances or money, or relying on other people and other resources, and that, so that you're not stepping in your power and really being able to look after yourself, because we're moving towards that North Node Taurus energy, which is all about us stepping into our own skills and abilities and natural abundance that comes from our self-worth and our confidence, and us being able to create our own abundance through our own skills and abilities, through us, what we can do, and moving towards, gaining our own financial security, and moving towards, being better with having financial security, not relying on other people's finances, financial security, having our own stability, and having our own resources as well. So we're not relying on outside sources. I am curious to have my Saturn in Gemini. Since Mars is currently in Gemini, does that affect my Saturn placement more? In a sense, it drives me to do those deeds and obligations in a faster sense. Yeah, definitely. That would definitely make sense, because Mars is definitely an energy that's fast, and in Gemini energy, it wants to get a lot of things done, or there's a lot happening, or there's a lot of things that we can have, in our environment to do, or being brought to our attention or whatever. And Saturn is all about hard work, showing up, getting things done, taking responsibility. It's about having strong boundaries. It's about learning hard lessons, basically, to help us grow. And if Mars is coming up with that energy, and they're conjuncting, they're coming together, then it's those two energies melding together. So it's like Saturn of that responsibility and needing to get things done and working towards building something, building some kind of legacy. And then Mars is like that action orientated, that drive, that passion. So it's like wanting to, there's two very strong energies that are about creating and going after something and goals and achieving, basically. So it is very strong having those two together, and it would definitely make you want to do things. And that Mars energy is fast paced. You're definitely right, especially in Gemini, whereas Saturn is more slower and methodical usually. But in Gemini, it's going to make you want to probably want to get tasks and get things done a lot faster because of that Gemini fast-paced moving energy. It could also feel like, too, having just a natural Saturn Gemini placement, that you just always have that feel like a lot of responsibility and to get a lot of things done, or you feel a lot of responsibility and even can feel burdensome by depending again what area of life it is, but through so when it's in Gemini too, it's that Saturn energy is going to make us feel more restricted too when it comes to like our communication, our thoughts and thought processes possibly too, because it's like needing to be responsible, and to like, when you're talking about speaking and communicating, to say the right things and do the right things, and that Gemini energy can be a bit trickster-like as well, so it can be more harder to focus and stay on track and do what you need to and fulfill the responsibilities and get things done, because there's just so many things going on, so much stimulation and energy sort of thing. It can be harder to be committed and to not be flaky and to show up on time and stuff like that with that energy there. Hopefully that makes sense. No wonder it's been overwhelming. Yeah. Any kind of Saturn transit is always hard and difficult, and it's always about hard lessons, but it's always for a higher purpose of our karma. Basically, it's like clearing karma. Saturn is all about the lessons and clearing karma. Okay, so moon in Sag today. It's 15 degrees. That's 1 degree off my moon, so that's lovely. My lunar return for the month. I Okay, so I wanted to talk more about this Venus. So Venus Venus at the last degrees of Leo is going to feel most intense because it's especially at the 29th degree. So, in the next, so we're going to start feeling it now regardless. But tomorrow, Venus goes to 29 degrees. So yeah, we're going to be starting to feel that over the next day. That Venus at that last degree, the last degree is always the most intense because it's the completion degree. It's when the energies come to like the final stage. So it's all built up through that whole transit, and right at the end when it's most powerful, when it's like the strongest, because it's moved through that energy, that transit, and learnt everything the whole time and become. So when an energy, so like Venus is first moved into Leo, Venus has to learn that energy because it's not, especially when it's not its natural placement in Leo. So it's like got to integrate those energies into itself and become more like it, I guess, in a sense. And by the end of the transit, it's really understood that energy and can really integrate it. And it knows that it's about to change signs and go into that next energy. So it's like becomes more intense because it's about to go change again. So it becomes uncomfortable as well because it's about to push into another new phase, basically. So 29 degrees. Oh, we did talk about that last week, didn't we? I've had enough. It's in my sun. I'm in crisis. Oh, I'm sending you lots of love. Just remember, all transits are passing, and that things will always get better, and everything is always for a higher, bigger purpose, even though at the time it can feel tough and difficult and not like that at all. I've been through some really tough things in life, and always you look back and it's like, still fucked, but it's like you did get to a better place, or you did end up in a better position mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever it is. There's always some aspect of it. And if it's Saturnian like, then a lot of the time it's to get us back into our integrity. Okay, so Venus. So Venus in Leo. Remember, Venus is our pleasure. It's our love language. It's how we give and receive love. It's our values. And it rules our finances and money as well. So when Venus is in that Leo energy, Leo is all about the heart and love, and it's about passion, and it's about being courageous and bold and being confident and being a bit of a drama queen and show pony as well. And Venus is ruling our money, our relationships. So we can, have felt like that over this last few weeks with that Venusian energy in that Leo energy. And, can even be more selfish too, feel more selfish within relationships, or have seen or experienced that, another person being more selfish maybe. More, it's all about me right now, that sort of energy. But that's going to shift now. So we go from, Venus and Leo being all about me and all about love and all about just feeling good and all of that stuff, and coming from the heart and just being all pleasurable and indulgent and all that, and then moving into Virgo, which is very different. It's more about that. It's, Virgo's about work. I love saying that, but it's so true. And it's about energy of fixing things. So, it's going to be a good time for, once that Venus moves in the next few days into that Virgo energy until the rest of the month too, for us to fix things within our relationships, within our finances and money, to get more organized, to have some more harsher truths as well come up. But also it's where we need to be careful too, and it's why we want to do some tapping shortly on perfectionism, striving too much for perfectionism in ourselves or in relationships. So Virgo's the energy of being of service. So when that Venus moves into there, we can either be too much of the energy of wanting to be of service too much within our relationships, so doing too much for the other, and it can become apparent, or we can be in energy where we want to be served and we want the other person to just do everything for us. I mean, that's more that Venus and Leo energy, but there can be an aspect that comes up of that. But it's when that Virgo energy is more coming from a darker, bad place. It's not in its good aspects. It can be more like that. But when it's in its Venus is Virgo's in that energy of its, the best energy it can be, then it's going to be of service and wanting to be helpful and stuff like that. So it can be an energy that, again, like I said, that can fix and repair relationships as well, or our finances and our money and our resources, that sort of thing. Our values can come up for review. It's like, are things matching up to our perfect standards, to our standards basically, or are our needs being met in a certain way that we're able to feel grounded and feel like we have some kind of like that we're working towards something. We're grounded and we're working towards something. We're following a plan or working towards something or getting something done or ticking lists off and stuff like that. Hey, sister. So again, when Venus is in Virgo, so our values can come up. So things like, our health can become more important to us, wanting to get healthy in our mind, body, soul, whatever it is. So whether that's through, when we look at energies too, we're looking at, you always want to look at the, I always say polarity, but polarity isn't right, the duality of energy. So when we're talking about Virgo energy, how do you most balance out that Virgo energy? It's with Pisces. So it's like having good daily spiritual practices, or having some kind of inner connection with the self where you're in tune and you have a connection with your higher source, with God, with the universe, whatever it is. Having a good mental state is a big thing when you're talking about those two opposing energies, to help balance out that Virgo energy, the overthinking mind, the overdoing, the over wanting to achieve and work and get so much done, because it can be so focused on that it's trying to avoid, the other side of it, that Pisces energy, because it's too focused on, it's the mind basically, and not getting back into the body. So so during this, while the sun is there too, it's, the sun and Venus, both of those energies. So the sun being what makes us happy, what's lighting us up, what is shining a light in an area of our life. And it's about, getting more healthy, getting on track with our body, with our eating, with our diet, with our daily practices, with our organization, with what we're doing in our routines, what we do on a day-to-day basis, what we're doing in our work, what we do daily, all of those things coming up, so that we can get more into our higher state in alignment with it. So it's like that sun energy is there. The sun is our vitality, it's our energy. So we want to have more vitality, more energy through having a good mindset, by having healthy routines and practices, and by eating well and looking after ourselves and getting plenty of rest and sunshine and all that sort of stuff. So that is a big thing that comes up during this time of year. And it's like a reset energy too, for us to get back on track. If we've, start of the year, we set good intentions and we have all these great things, and then we can get off track through the year, and it's a chance again to reset and get back on track with all those things. Do you believe in past lives and how astrology can be used to distinguish our past selves? Yeah, definitely. That's what the South Node is all about. South Node, let's talk about before the South Node in Scorpio. The South Node is all about our past life, where we were, what we've done in a past life. So that can tell you so much depending where it is in your chart, what house it is in, what aspects it's making. You can go into so much about someone's past life through the South Node. It's crazy. I saw somewhere that 9 planets were going to retrograde. What are the cumulative effects? Yeah, so we have 6 planets. Yeah, I don't think it's quite 9, but we have a lot of. So we have periods where some planets are retrograde, some planets are direct. Then we'll have periods where everything is like direct and there's no planets in retrograde, which is rare times, which we had, I think it was the start of the year for a bit. And then we lose that and all the planets start to go into retrograde at certain points as well. And that's what we're going to hit, is where a lot of planets are going to be in retrograde. So when things are retrograde, it's an internal thing. So we're going back within, like all the planets are going within themselves. But the outer planets do retrograde more for longer periods of time, because they're further from Earth. Because what's happening is the planet isn't really going backwards. It's just its view from Earth. It seems to be going backwards. So the best way to explain it is when you're driving in a car and you come up with someone else and you start to pull off a bit more, and it looks like they're moving backwards when you're driving, like on a freeway or whatever, when you're going fast. Looks like they're pulling backwards and you're going forwards, and they're going backwards, but it's just you pulling away and the perception or whatever. So that's what retrograde planets are doing in that sense. They're not actually, they're just slowing down, and we're going far, and that our view is going, our perception is going further ahead or whatever it is, faster from Earth. So yeah, so all the planets starting to retrograde is less momentum forward, less energy forward. So they're not direct. So our energy becomes more within, or things start to slow down. And so when we're talking about outer planets, it's things within the world more than likely, unless there's something specifically hitting our personal planets. Otherwise, if we're talking about the inner planets, so like Mars, your Mercury, your Venus, those planets then retrograde, then it's going to affect us more personally as well, more personally. Let's change the chart to a month quickly. So if we look here, we go forward to November. We've already had Pluto. Well, actually, Pluto will come out of retrograde, but we've had. Let me go back to October. So we have. We don't have Mercury in retrograde quite then yet. See, Pluto comes out of retrograde. So we'll have Neptune in retrograde, Jupiter in retrograde, Chiron in retrograde, Uranus in retrograde, Mars in retrograde as of the 4th of November. Pluto's gone direct by the looks of it, so that will change things hugely in America because of their Pluto return. So we have a lot going up there in Scorpio too, with the South Node, when all these other planets are retrograde, and it's just everything that's direct is in Scorpio. So I wouldn't say that's any kind of movement forward when we're talking about that, when they're all stuck there with the South Node. And I say stuck because that's exactly Scorpio South Node energy, is like being stuck or stuck in our comfort zone. So if we go forward another month, Neptune will start to come out of its retrograde. So there is a short time where there's like a lot that is in retrograde there. So what technically it's really just Venus and Mercury that aren't. So yeah, definitely going to be a more retrospective time over the next few months with that, and just in general with Mars being in retrograde. I got a reading of this astrology a long time ago, and they were talking about how I was a revolution leader and that I was part of a big liberation. It blew my mind. Oh, wow, that's amazing. You must have some good Uranus or Aquarius energy in your chart, for sure. Hey, Yosh. What's up, baby? So... what else is important to talk about at the moment? So Venus changing signs, Mars in the retrograde, Uranus is going to just keep retrograding. Jupiter still is a while till it goes back into Pisces, which will be very different, a very big change in energy when Jupiter goes back, for the collective, for the world, when Jupiter goes back into Pisces. And when Uranus and Saturn both go direct again. So they're sort of following each other in that square at the moment still. Saturn's at 20 degrees and Uranus is at 18 degrees. I'm pretty sure I looked 2 weeks ago and we didn't see that Uranus doesn't catch the North Node. Let me go forward a month. No, yeah, the North Node disappears down to 13 degrees, gets too far away. Oh, hang on, 15 degrees. Yeah, no, it just keeps going, keeps disappearing away. No. So they won't actually conjunct again by the looks of it, unless I've missed something slightly, but I don't think so. Which is kind of interesting too, because that Uranus was liberating us towards our destiny and our future. And if they have finished meeting, it's like, does that already mean we're on our path towards our destiny, our future? We've been liberated, or we need to? But we're still going to have Saturn and... so we've got 6th of October. So next month, Saturn and Uranus will be in an exact square on the 6th of October. So in the past, when we've had Saturn and Uranus in squares, we've had lockdowns, we've had big things in the world. So hopefully we don't have anything come up with that in the next month. Yeah. Okay, so don't think there's any other big energies I really want to talk about. I could go through the week and talk about the moon in each sign, but I mean the moon as it moves through. But it's just so much. That's why I try to post on Instagram as much as I can. I was doing daily until my tablet broke, but because there's so much going on with when you're talking about the moon, and the moon is our emotions. It's guiding our feelings every day. It's our emotional contentment. It's our environment, and it's our mind as well. And the moon changes signs every 2.5 days. Going around that chart, it's aspecting so many things all the time that there's just always some kind of internal emotional thing going on within us because of the aspects it's making, all the aspects it constantly makes. So yeah, we have a full moon in Pisces coming up. Let's have a quick chat about that, and then I'm going to look at some charts. So look at some charts, and then we're going to do some tapping. So moon. Oh, I want to go forward. No, I do want to go forward just a few days. So the moon will be the moon will be full moon in Pisces. Let's just change this to hours so we can get it exact. 18 degrees. 17 degrees. 17 degrees. So when I do look at charts today, I'm going to look at, I said last week we're going to look at Mercury retrograde. I was going to do it through each sign, but I think we're going to run out of time. Maybe, we'll see. I can still do that at the end, but otherwise we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde, I think, in the chart, or Mars. We talked about Mars last week, maybe Mars. Mars is probably more important. Let's talk about Mars. Okay, so 17 degrees, 17 degrees. So on the 10th of September, so 9th of September, 10th of September, depending where you are in the world. So that's Friday, Saturday. At the end of the week, we're going to have a full moon in Pisces. So full moons are always a completion. They're a ending. They're a culmination, a celebration. It's when the moon's at its fullest, so it's at its peak energy. It's when all the crazy stuff can happen because of like that full moon energy. They say all the crazies come out. It's the moon is so bright too that it's a huge reflection. Like it's the moon's reflecting something. So when we're talking about a full moon, it's actually an opposition. So there's an oppositional energy that comes up for us. So we're in an opposition to something in an area of our life. Oh, do you want that open, Yosh? Yeah. Sorry, Yosh. There you go. You can go up there. So full moon, so it's an oppositional energy. So an opposition is another point of view. So we're looking at the sun here in Virgo and the moon in Pisces. So that sun in Virgo energy in an opposition. So that Pisces energy, that moon energy is reflecting, shining its light on the sun. Oh, it's actually the sun's shining its light, but it's that reflection. So the sun is what we look to for. The sun's what lights us up, what makes us happy, what gives us vitality and energy. So in that opposition, we look to the sun to light us up, to give us some kind of other point of view. And it's not negative because it's an opposition necessarily, because it's the sun and moon together. They are those opposite feminine and masculine energies, and it can be fighting, and it can be something that is more harsh, and because it's an opposition, it can be an oppositional energy, a fighting energy, but it's to help us to see something, to bring something to light so that we can get more on a soul level about something and more in our heart space with something. So that Pisces full moon, so Pisces is all about Pisces energy now. So Pisces is like about ending. So we've got a full moon in the sign of endings. It's the completion sign. It's the end of the zodiac. It's where we've gone through all the different energies, learnt through and integrated all the energies and come to the end, the completion. It's a place that we go to retreat. So it's a time when we can feel, although it's a full moon intense energy, we can feel like we might need to retreat in some way, or to find that connection, to get in tune and go within. And that's to get in touch with ourself, with our higher self, with our inner guidance system, with the universe, with God, or whatever you look to that is a higher power in a sense, but not a high power outside yourself. That's a power that's within you that you work with. So that Pisces energy is that full moon. So it's like endings, completion, celebrations. Oh, shit, sorry. 2 secs. Okay, I'm not rushed anymore. My lunch plans changed. I'm supposed to be going out to Father's Day lunch for my brother, but we're going to go to dinner instead now, apparently. So there you go. Sorry. Why won't this work? Why can't I get in? Oh, there we go. Okay, so Full moon, yeah. So Pisces is so Pisces is like our it's ruled by Neptune. So the other part of any kind of energy at play, especially like we're talking about the South Node and the North Node before, and why I was saying like, those are so potent is because that Venus is the ruler of the North Node and Scorpio is the ruler of the South Node. And Mars is the ruler of the South Node. So whatever Venus and Mars are doing is so important to our destiny, our future, to our past, to our future, to all those things. So we're talking about that full moon in Pisces now. So we're talking about the moon and the ruler being Neptune too. And it's all about spirituality, and it's about that Pisces energy too can be like quite romantic and quite passionate and creative and able to tap into like the mystical side of things. And it can be a bit of escapism energy too, where it wants to run away and escape or get lost in other realities or fantasies or video games or whatever creative virtual things going on. It's a magical energy too. It can also be where we can not see things clearly because we're seeing them so wonderfully with like rose tinted glasses, or just so beautifully or so wonderfully, when they're not necessarily that way. It's like we over idolize things or over idolize people, and we're not seeing things clearly. So that is an energy that can come up. So when it's a full moon in Pisces, it can come up as like deception. So like a release and letting go, culmination point of deceptive energy, of where we haven't been seeing the truth of things, where the truth may, where we've been deceiving ourselves may come up, or where people have been or things have been deceiving us or whatever, where there's been self-sabotaging possibly, or where we've been too lost in the fantasy and not grounded in reality. So when we're looking at the opposite sign of that Virgo, it's like helping us to find balance and grounding. So it's like looking to nature, looking to our bodies, and eating well and walking and exercising and finding balance within. So by having good sleep patterns and eating well and good routines and good structure in our life and all that to help balance out that Pisces headspace energy, in a sense, because that Pisces energy can be off with the fairies basically. So that can come up too, where we've been too off with the fairies now. But it's also a culmination celebration, so it's not always necessarily something negative. So it's like a culmination, a completion energy, a celebration of some kind of spiritual practices or spiritual endeavors that we've had, or some kind of creative ventures, or something to do with like I always struggled with this, and I don't have no Pisces energy in my chart, but trying to express that energy of Pisces when it's like it's mystical, it's creative, it's spiritual, it's fantasy-like, it's otherworldly. Maybe that's the best way. It's that energy sort of thing. It's fantasy energy, where we're too caught up in our fantasies or whatever. National Cat Day is on October 29th. Amazing. I'll have to remember that. Oh, funny. So that's again. So there's some kind of completion, culmination point, celebration, in the Pisces area of your chart. So we're looking to that Virgo energy. So the release point, so intense full moon energy, where it can feel really emotional, because Pisces energy is very sensitive and watery, so we can feel overly emotional, super intense, super off with the fairies, and lost and not connected and grounded. So where we need to look to, as I said, that release point, that other point of view, that other perspective, is those Virgo things. So finding those healthy balance within our daily routines, our lives, our health, our well-being, all of that is going to help to balance out that energy and help us to see the clarity that whatever's shining a light. So where we haven't been looking after ourselves, and we've just been too scarce with our energy, too flooded, too fluttery, too it's not grounded and like fixed and secure. It's like all over the place, all over the shop and over here and over there, and just fluttery energy, you know, it's like that. Hey Phil, nice to see you. We'll hear from you again. Thanks for chatting and commenting on Instagram. And I love your photos that you put up, the pictures, they're so nice. Is that something you do, Phil? Photography? You like doing photography? Because yeah, the photos you take are really nice. Okay, so we looked to Neptune too to give us some information about what we're looking to release. So again, depending where Neptune is in your chart, can be some information about what you're needing to release, let go of, what's coming to a completion and ending, a culmination point. And Neptune's in retrograde too, so it's definitely an internal thing about our internal spirituality and our internal self when it comes to our delusion and our addictions and our where we're not seeing things clearly, where we're not feeling connected or spiritual and stuff like that. So Neptune is currently in Pisces in its home energy, and it's not going to be quite, so what are we talking about? 4 degrees and 7 degrees. So I wouldn't say it's quite conjunct. They're in the same sign, so it's going to be significant, but they're not conjunct. But again, like I said, they're in the same sign and it's in that retrograde phase anyway. So it is like that, moving towards that, retrograding back towards that full moon in a sense. Its energy is pointing towards the moon because it's not in a forward motion. So, that Neptune in Pisces is just making it even stronger, that energy of, the delusion, us not seeing things clearly, us being too flaky. That's the word I was thinking, flaky. Us being caught up in fantasies and not seeing things for what they are, seeing people for what they are, whatever, like that as well. Caught up in our dreams too much, or where we're not being able to take action on our dreams and in reality because we're too caught up in the fantasy world or whatever else, So saying this though, there's actually some really nice positive energy here. We look at this, the North Node and Uranus are actually in a sextile. So those dreams, so where we've been stuck in our energy, it's like helping us now see where we can take action and move forward, and where we've been too stuck or where we thought things are too fantasy-like and too dreamy and all that, we can actually start to see in a reality in some sense, or see a part of our future coming forward or manifesting, or something coming to some kind of culmination or celebration point towards that is to do with our dreams and our spirituality and our intuition, our higher self, our creativity, all of that stuff. There's like some kind of aspect that is helpful coming towards helping us to see towards our future, towards our destiny, and towards where we can liberate ourselves and we can get towards that, or where we can shift or change something that helps us to move forward towards being more secure and being more sure of ourselves and more confident and more in our abilities and our skills. And it could be something coming through where we've come to the completion point of us, like something we're completing that is to do with our skills and our abilities or our finances and our money, and it helps us to move forward because we've been in tune with ourselves and in touch with ourselves, and that is going to pay off through having that good connection and that good spiritual understanding of our path and our destiny and our future. It's just a hobby. Well, it's very, you do it as a hobby though, so yeah, you're very good at it, Phil. So what else? So we have that aspect, which then means that it's also in a trine then, because if it's in a sextile, it'll be in a trine with the South Node. So there's some aspect that we're able to release and let go of what's holding us back and keeping us in fear and not helping us to move towards our future and our dreams and our destiny and towards our creativity and towards our connection with God, the universe, our higher self. There's a part where we're able to, an opportunity to release something and let go through this full moon, some kind of completion, some kind of ending of something that's not allowing us to step into our true power into out of the fear and into our truth and into our wholeness and there's an aspect that's helping us to transform, to let go and transform something, to transform and to release any fears, any obsessions, any kind of darkness, any kind of trauma, anything that's holding us back, basically, to moving towards that future and destiny. That is to do with our dreams and what, and our spirituality and our connection with God, the universe, our higher self, and what we're wanting to create and manifest and put out there. There's an inconjunct quincunx with Ceres. I think that's pretty much says it for the full moon. I feel satisfied with that. I don't know if I have bought any more for the queue or anything like that, so I'm just gonna read whoever's been in here talking the last hour. Well, I've been talking, I'm just gonna read whoever wants their chart read. I know who's been in here, so if you've been hanging around, I'll have a look at your chart. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that. Happy full moon in Pisces at the end of the week. Now I'm gonna close